What's up guys, Udeemsa here. Today we're back again. In this video we're going to be playing some Alistar support. So if you've been watching me for a while, I uploaded a bunch of Alistar videos a while ago, but it's been a while since I've done one, so I thought I'd upload this match. And the reason why I chose this match is just because of how well I played the lane phase and pretty much carried my duo lane. But I'm definitely way better at Alistar now than I was back then, and Alistar seems like a simple champ. Like, it seems pretty just simple, like there isn't much you could do, but there actually is a lot of cool things that you could do that a lot of people don't realize, especially in the like mid-tiers like Emerald, Diamond. People don't realize it, but there's so much you could do on Alistar to just completely up your game. So I hope to showcase that in this video. And I actually did watch some of the other Alistar videos that other YouTubers uploaded. Like, I know Darkbreaker just posted one. I watched one of Hell's Devils, but a lot of people, they really didn't cover a bunch of stuff that I think needs to be covered more in Alistar. So that's what I hope to do with this video. And I was actually talking to some other supports that were Challenger, and they were giving me some pointers and just pointing out some stuff that a lot of mid-tier players, the mistakes that they make on Alistar. So I thought I'd, of course, use this gameplay. To start off with, at level 1, you really can't do too much over here now. I noticed we get level 2 first, so I go in right away because we have the level 2 advantage. And we get some really, really nice poke damage there. And that's huge. If you're a laner that's leashing, in my opinion, when you leash, you should give a big enough leash to where you just don't miss any minions. Like, don't miss any minions, because if you fall behind and you don't get that level 2 at about the same time as your laner, that can happen where the enemy laner can just completely abuse that and go in for a quick engage and get some nice poke. So this Malphite's just doing Malphite things, poking with his first ability. Now we got level 3, so we're just going to keep on going. I get some good damage, and my perk is just keep on, it's sustaining us very, very well. So then the Shyvana comes here. That was kind of a bad flash by Shyvana, just because this Jinx still has flash up too. So it's not like we would have been able to kill him. That was a good try. And now they just picked up their honey fruit. So another thing to note if you're playing a side lane is where the enemy jungler is and what the enemy jungler is. So in this match, most of the junglers, the pathing that they take is from the red to blue side jungle, and then they usually look for a gank in those areas. So if you're a side laner, you should really pay attention to what pathing the enemy jungler is doing, because that can tell you exactly where they're going to gank. So if you're not, I know Pantheon was around the area, so I'm like, we got to keep an eye out for this. Even if Pantheon comes, we should be fine just because of how low we got him. So now this Jinx is pretty much one combo. This Pantheon comes in, but this is what I'm talking about. Things you could do on Alistar. So I'll talk about this in a sec after this engage finishes. I still have my heal up, and we're getting the Pantheon low. He used Smite there to heal up a bit. So that was very good. And now watch this. I completely just turn on this Malphite. I know that the Pantheon backed up, and we forced the Alistar flash. Or not the Alistar flash, the Malphite flash. And now Shyvana's here. Shyvana's level 5, I believe they should be. So they're actually going in really, really deep. I did not see them going there, but over here now, I'm going for this engage. I ult. I realize I have no energy now. That was definitely my bad. But I used my ult to tank up the turret shots, and we're able to dip out. Hopefully the Shyvana got out too. That's perfect. I think we got 2 kills there, and that worked out very well. But as I wanted to talk about, I think there's multiple phases that people go through when they play Alistar. Of course, when you first start off, like very, very new players, they don't even understand the second ability into first ability to combo. But then people learn that, and people really obsess over that combo, I notice. Anytime they see enemies, they always use that combo. And that's a phase a lot of people go through, but you could do more with Alistar other than just going for that combo. A lot of times what you could do is you can land your first ability, and then when they're knocked up, you could literally just position right behind them and knock them back into your team if it's a good engage. And that's what a bunch of the Challenger supports were telling me that they were playing, is by doing that, you can catch a lot of people off guard, and you could do so much with that. So right now, I'm hoping to push this in because I know the Malphite was roaming around a bit, so I was like, we could hard push this, make him miss some farm. And actually this dragon, no, it's because the dragon was spawning. I want to get the wave pushed in, that way we can fight at this dragon. Because right now we have the lane priority, and now we have the control of the river area. And that's really key, because with our lane shoved in, like look at where Jinx has to be positioned right now. They really don't have a good look over here, so It's much harder. Riven goes for an engage. We go onto this Jinx. The Jinx gets a good flash. The Pantheon sadly gets to steal. In my opinion, this was bad on me and Riven's part. I don't think Riven should have engaged there. I think we should have just gone for the secure. It looked like a good look, but it didn't exactly work out. Because with Alistar, actually what you could do is you can pretty much just secure most dragons. You can help your jungler, since if it's looking like a smite battle, what you could do is you can pretty much use your second ability to knock the enemy jungler out of the dragon pit. That way they can't smite it. But I went for the follow-up with the Riven. I should have just left the Riven and stayed with my jungler, because smite battles are definitely they're a bit stressful as a jungle main. But as I was saying, you're going to start seeing in a bit what I'm talking about, what you could do with Alistar instead of just going in for the first ability and second ability to first ability combo. So now we're getting them low. There's a Malphite flash again. And over here, I want to watch out for the Pantheon. They're missing right now. So now we're getting the reset in. Getting our first item. So I definitely think Alistar is a decent support to learn. I think as a support, you should have at least one frontline's tanky support that you can play very well. Because in my opinion, it's never bad to have too much frontline, but it is bad to have no frontline at all. So if you're a support main and you're playing something like Lulu, what else? Like Lulu, Soraka, all those kinds of champs, and your jungle and top lane, they don't pick tanky frontlines, then you're going to have no frontline at all, and that can completely screw your team over. But having like 3 frontliners, that's not going to be bad. That'll be fun. So now we're trying to put some pressure down, get some turret. I want this Misfortune to attack the turret, actually. I want to get this turret. So as I was saying over here, look at what you could do. First ability into second ability. And now we can track down this Malphite. Actually, that Malphite got a very, very good ult on me. I was not expecting him to go for that. He sadly got me. I should have actually just ulted there. I wouldn't have died if I did that, but that's just a really good representation of things that you could do. So sadly, our team is struggling a bit, it seems. Let's look at the scoreboard. Yeah, our mid lane is down pretty big, so that's a bit unfortunate. So now we're trying to get onto this Jinx, force him off the turret. I don't want to give him too many plates. So actually, that's a really, really good combo you could do, actually, with Alistar. That, again, a lot of people don't know about. And over there, that Jinx got a very, very good flash. And now I'm just keep on doing the same thing over and over, just second ability, or first ability into second ability. And it's doing so much work on him. So now the Yasuo actually rotates. But I could just knock him away and we are set. So they just wasted so many rotates. I think they both burned flash. We burned a lot of stuff too, but they definitely burned more. And we got pretty good position. Plus we got that kill. We totally just baited them there. They wasted everything on us. Over there, I ran out of mana, sadly, again. I need to keep an eye on that more. He might have been able to get the kill, but now we're resetting. Drake spawning. In my opinion, Shyvana made a mistake there. They used their ults and didn't get much out of it, and now this dragon is spawning, and Shyvana without ult is not particularly a very good Shyvana, just because there isn't too much you could do. So it's very, very risky going for a fight without ult. And they're really trying to force it. I don't think we should be trying to force this. I'm just setting up some vision around there. You can see I'm like trying to, I don't really want to do this. I was starting to go away, but they started up, and over here I'm just trying to clear out all these wards. We was not able to, sadly. So now I'm trying to peel back with the Shyvana. They get really low, but we just get totally forced out there. And again, now I'm able to knock the Yasuo into our team. He flashes out. Did we get him? Nope, he's like one shot. That was very unfortunate. But that was I think that was a mistake on our jungler's part trying to force that without a ult. We'll see. I'll remind him later in this match not to do that. I think I start typing in the chat because this match is a bit rough. Like, I did play very, very well in this lane phase. I got the Misfortune pretty good lead. We definitely bullied our opponents, but yeah, I'm just waiting. I'm like, let's wait for ults before we do this. Because sadly we lost 2 of the dragons, and that's really bad against the Malphite Yasuo because that's a very strong combo in teamfights. Plus the fact that our Ziggs is behind is very unfortunate. So now I'm telling him to back up here because we have no vision around the area. But they just keep on going. They have to flash out. There's a Darius around here somewhere. But, oh, the combo that I was talking about earlier. So what you could do is actually, if you didn't know, you can use your first ability and then flash. And the knockup is very, very fast. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go into a practice match and just test it out. Flash and then first ability, and then try to first ability flash super quick. You'll notice the huge difference. If you notice that combo I did on Jinx a while back, you'll see that I first ability and then flashed. And boom, the knockup is so fast. And over here now, we should not be going for this fight, in my opinion. This is a bit scuffed, but we're trying our best. We didn't have Shyvana with us. Thankfully, oh no, it didn't work out actually. Yeah, we shouldn't have done this without Shyvana. It's very, very bad fighting without Shyvana because we really don't have much damage on our team with our mid laner being so far behind. And they're Yasuo doing so much damage. It's very bad. And this was not the Shyvana's fault here. It was our team's fault there for going for the engage. They should have seen the Shyvana was stopping the top lane from being pushed down. So over here, I'm just telling them to like pretty much stop whining and just play the match. I mean, whatever happened has happened. Okay, Shyvana lost the first smite battle, that's fine. And smite battles it's not necessarily always on the jungler's fault. Like, it's like a 50-50 a lot of times, the smite battles. As a jungle main, I'm telling you, like, you aren't going to win all of them. Unfortunate things will happen. As a team, you should be looking to try and decrease the odds that can happen. So for me, that'd be like using my second ability to knock the enemy jungler out, or the Ziggs ulting to help secure if they can with something like that. Or this Riven maybe trying to stun the jungler right as the dragon gets low enough to smite, so then they can't smite if they're stunned up. Just things along those lines, instead of always blaming teammates. So that's Darius gets a pretty good pull. I have to ult here. We got our turret behind us. This was, again, we were able to get 1 kill at least. I can't really do too much here now. I'm super low. We didn't have Misfortune this entire fight, so that was very bad. And I think this is actually one of the problems with Misfortune is you don't have as much hard carry potential in teamfights versus a champ, maybe like Kai'Sa or something along those lines, Jinx, that are just complete monsters in these huge teamfights. Misfortune does have a very strong lane phase, but I do think it's the teamfights and the mid game that makes him a bit harder to play. So now, yeah, we gotta watch out for this Darius hook, because this Darius is pretty big. And please don't be like these people in chat. These people in chat are just obnoxious to play with. Like, it is not game over. Sure, we have 2 drags down, but like 1 Baron and 1 good Baron push can completely just change the entire match. So now over here, I'm telling him, wait for Shyvana ult, because Shyvana doesn't have ult yet, so they're going to get that ult. Sadly, we lost the entire positioning advantage from that. Now they have control of the river area, which is very unfortunate. And it's a really big thing because we're kind of split. We're in a weird spot now. And this is a very bad spot to fight it. I'll tell you exactly why. They have a Malphite, and look at the position we're in. Like, I'm like, we should back up here. We should not be in that spot, because a Malphite ult at that choke point will just destroy us all completely. And then if the Yasuo ults too, then we're just done for. So over here now, we're starting an engage here. I knocked the Darius into the turret. He's just so tanky, though. The SL ults me, which is fine, I guess. If he wants to ult me. Sadly, we were not able to pick up any kills there. And at this point, I'm really just struggling with damage just because they're so tanky. The Jinx actually screws up his flash, but he kind of baits the Riven. That's kind of funny. But yeah, at this point, I think what we should be realizing as a team is we aren't going to win team fights. Like, our mid laner is just too far behind. They're super tanky, and I'm actually typing it right now. So, I think this is another trap that a lot of people in the mid tiers have, or like really anybody below like super high tier. Team fighting is not the only way you can win matches, okay? You can play with macro-wise too. So instead of always going for team fights, it's okay to like give up a dragon or something if you have to. But what we could be looking to do is play more of a split push match. Like, go for teleport boots and just try and split push. When somebody goes to contest that split push, teleport over, try and get a 5v4 if possible. Things along those lines. Because if we keep on trying to force these fights like we are right now, there's really no way we're going to win it. At this point, the reason why I'm like stepping up is because I realize like we're going to need a Baron steal probably if we do want to have a chance at this match. So sadly, these team fights aren't going as well as planned, but again, I still want to upload this video just because I think I showcased a lot with the combos and how to play the lane phase very well, and some cool things you could do on Alistar that I didn't see in many other YouTube videos. So I thought this was like one of the only ones that showcases it very well. So that's why I chose to upload this, even though the late game isn't particularly going the hottest. Because we definitely dominated the lane phase, but sadly this misfortune isn't putting as much work in teamfights. Just because they're pretty weak. That Darius has so much gold and they're just so tanky and so hard to kill. Oh, is the misfortune AFK? Oh, they just disconnected? Are they coming back? I don't know if they are. But actually, this match was actually from a little bit ago. Something else that I started to work on was in teamfights and in fights in general, if you are going to use your second ability into first ability combo, you don't always... Some cool things that you could do is, let's say there's like 2 enemies around and you only want to get one of them. So let's say there's like a Yasuo and a Darius like right next to each other and our entire team's approaching them. Let's say we don't want the Darius there, but we want to catch out the Yasuo. What you could do is you can use your second ability on the Darius, knock him away, and then use your first ability. Instead of comboing it up so you hit like both of them. Or so instead of comboing up so you hit the Darius and he's there too. Because if you knock that Darius away, you get the gap closed, so now you're next to Yasuo, and then you knock up the Yasuo. So it's only the Yasuo there and the Darius gets knocked away. I don't think I do it in this video because I wasn't working on that too much, but that was definitely something that I did try working on. So right now I'm just trying to peel for my backline. It's a very split team fight here. I'm trying to help our backline out. We really are struggling with the damage wise. We can't really kill anybody here. So what do I do here? Oh, if I go up to the Baron, I'm like, okay, we just go for this. Because if they get this Baron, like, we aren't going to win team fights, really. We just got to go for a seal, really. Sadly, they get the Baron. I think, do I die here? Oh, dang, that Darius ult. Oh my gosh. That completely deleted me. Yep. This is not very good right now. But at that point, we kind of just have to make the risk. In my opinion, the jungler should have tried to stay alive. If I was playing jungler in this match, at that point of the game, I would make my goal just being going for a Baron steal and see if I can change the tide of the match with that. So I'd be very careful not to die and then just try and get a flash and smite or something. It's okay if you die, but really that's the only way back that we have. So if I was jungle, that's what I'd do, but sadly this match is not going in our favor. Now the Elder's spawning. They're probably going to try and force that up. They all have the Guardian Angels up. They're going to be super hard to kill. So over here, let's say I was running up to these two. Oh, there's only one of them now. I accidentally messed up my combo. Yeah, but what I was saying, like, you could do it in team fights too. Let's say we're going for a full-on team fight in this match. What I could do is, if I'm looking for an engage, I can actually just second ability the S out, hit him away, and then use my first ability. That way the S out is backed up, and it's hard for him to gap close again, plus I knock up his team still. Maybe in my next Alistar video, I'll definitely do that more in team fights. And just fights in general. Ooh, another really cool thing you could do on Alistar is, in the early game, let's say your lane is on the same side as the enemy blue buff. What you could do is, if you have a super aggro team, you have good positioning, you have the wave shoved in, all your lanes are looking good. What you could do is you could actually run up to the enemy blue buff and use your second ability when it's like at like 800, 900 HP. Or like right over here, like I could knock that buff over the wall and reset it. And that can completely screw over an enemy jungler early game. Because let's say that the enemy jungler is something like a Camille that has such a bad clear, it slows down their clear so much because then they got to redo the blue buff entirely. And they take so much damage. And if they're super low, then they won't be able to gank really and do as much. So over here, the Ziggs is right. They have the dragon advantage. Their teamfight is strong even without the dragons. So with the dragons, the odds that we win a teamfight is very low. So we really shouldn't be trying to force teamfights. But it's very hard concept for some people to understand that teamfighting isn't the only way that you can win a match. You can split push, things along those lines. You can play with macro a bit more. Yeah, at this point, they're just pushing in these waves. And really, this is what I was saying, we just need to like go for a Baron steal, really. That was really our only chance. We're trying to survive. The Riven goes for an engage. But see, notice how I actually get the knock up on their entire team. Instead of getting the stun off 2 onto the same person that knocked back, I could have just knocked him back completely and then stunned the team. That way the person that knocked back was far away, but sadly that's going to be it for this match. It did not particularly go the best in the late game, but I hope y'all learned a bunch. I hope y'all enjoyed it. And if you do enjoy this kind of content, make sure to like and subscribe, comment down below, and that's going to be it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see y'all in the next video.